Hi crafters. Always cough when I start. What's with that? Here's the card we're going to make today. Super easy, super fun. So let's get started. Today we're going to work with kind of a rainbow color. I've already got all my inks lined up. I put them in the order that I'm going to use them. They're over here down the left so that I can keep track. I'm using a stamp set from Avery L called Fanfare. I'm going to use the little scalloped border piece. Just realized I do not have a baby wipe because I'm going to need it. All right, underneath me I have a stamp pad, just a mushy foam pad that I'm going to use because when doing something with a lot of color, a relatively solid image, you want to have something cushy underneath you. So the first color I'm going to start with is Lawn Fawn's Lobster. I am in love with the new Lawn Fawn inks. People are like, well, why? I'm not good at describing ink, but it is so crisp when it stamps. I love it. So I'm going to press it down pretty hard, kind of hold it a minute, like I say, because it's a pretty solid image. Okay, so we've got our red. Now I need to get that off. Wipe that. Definitely have to get everything off in between. With these darker colors, you want to make sure you get it all off for sure. The next one, some new stamps that I recently purchased are from Simon Says Stamp, and this is Hollyhock. Stamp that up real good. I probably overstamp. I want to make sure there's ink on it, so I go stamp crazy. But hold it. My glasses are on top of my head, so I can't see. My head, just dawned on me, is totally going to be in the shot here if I do what I did earlier. Because with the clear stamps, it's so easy to line them up. The camera I normally use, the battery was dead. Then the other camera that I use, the software isn't on my new computer yet, so I couldn't use that. I didn't want to take the time, so I actually have my iPhone and on my selfie stick above my head, and I've never videotaped with it above my head, so who knows what's going to end up in the screen, because I'm not used to that. The next color I'm using is Sunkissed, another Simon Says Stamp ink. They have some pretty cool colors in their ink. Again, I'm just going to look through here and line it up. Sorry, I'm assuming my head is in there. There's that one. I mean, just those three colors together look good. That off. Next, we are going to use Lawn Fawn Sunflower. Stamp that up. I love this stamp. I think it's probably the only stamp I've used in that stamp set. And the stamp set's great, but this one I do all kinds of really fun stuff with, so I tend to grab it for everything. Let's line that up. Oh, I'm not sure that was totally straight, but you probably won't notice because there is still some white. So let's see what we get. Ooh, that one was bad. Well, we're going with it. Darn it. Oh well. The show must go on. Next color, Freshly Cut Grass. This is another Lawn Fawn ink. Love these colors. Okay, pay attention, Terry. There's the green. Next is Simon Says Stamp Scuba. If you follow the rainbow, you pretty much are guaranteed it's going to work. Some people are like, well, I have a hard time knowing what goes together. The easiest way is to follow the rainbow, and you know they're going to go good together. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. There we go. I would like that color, Scuba. Next is another Simon Says stamp. This one is Blue Jay. And I normally have a white grid paper behind me when I'm stamping, but for this, with trying to stamp and line things up on a white piece of paper, I would struggle with white in the background, and so that is why I'm stamping on black, so I can kind of see what I'm doing. Awesome. Cool. I had one other color out. There was, when I was practicing earlier, there was room for a sliver of another shade of blue, but since I'm off a little bit, we're just gonna go with that. All right, so the next thing, excuse me, that we need to do is, originally I was gonna use it on the card this direction. I think it looks cool. But when I ended up putting the twine and the button on it, I ended up liking it vertical. Let me hook a little twine on. Always tape it on the back. This is Doodlebug twine. Since I got off on my design a little bit, there's a sliver of white down here, and I could cut it off, but for sake of time, I'm just going to leave it like that. It's not a huge deal, but I know it's there, and so it will bother me, but I'll try to let it go. Hopefully others, the recipient of the card, won't realize it. And so I'm going to take, I like to bring the three together up on one side and then fan them out on the other. That's kind of what I'm doing here. A little bit of dimension and design. So the nice thing is, once you even get your twine taped, you still have room to scoot it around a little bit if you need to, so that's not a huge thing. I'll scooch that up. Actually, I want it a little higher. There we go. All right, and I'm going to put, I need to get the gunk off the back of my scissors, because when I cut this, it gets the sticky all over it. But I'm going to put dimensional tape on here. If I had thought about it earlier, what would have been really good, and if you were going to mail this card, what would be really good is to, sometimes I'll use the white fun foam, just the kids craft foam, and put a piece of that behind it. And I didn't get it out in time, so I'm just going to do this. But that probably would have worked a little more efficiently. But hey, it is not within reach. It is on the other side of my craft room. So we will make do. But yeah, whenever I put up if I want to pop up this large of an area, using that white craft foam is definitely the way to go. I already had a white card base cut. And let me get this up. It's actually a really easy card to make, really fast. Just got to get your inks out. Like I say, it's easiest to line them up in the order that you want to stamp them, especially if you were going to, let's say, mass produce it. If you were going to make several of them, make it a lot quicker for you. I know I sound like a guy. I should have acknowledged that. I am getting over a cold. I've had a cold for a couple of weeks, and I will probably sound like a trucker or a guy for another week or two. That tends to stick around with me when I have a cold, so sorry I sound like a foghorn. All right, so I have those where they want. I'm just gonna attach this to the front. Perfect. Then I have already pulled out a big red button, and I actually think this big red button, I didn't have my container marked, but I think that this button came from a really fun button collection that Stampin' Up! Had a few years ago. I love buttons, and so I just keep them and I pile them into a bucket or a container. See if I can pick this thing up with my nails, with my fake nails, might I say. Come on. Seriously, I cannot pick this thing up. Okay, so this is from the dental floss section. I don't know if you can see it. It's a flosser thing. I don't even know what it's called, but you find it by the dental floss, and it comes in like a little container. You get a bunch of them. And this is what I use to thread needles, get little threads through buttons. Makes it so much easier. So basically all you do is you stick it through the loop and take that little end through, and boom, there you go. Tie that. I love these big buttons. You know, I don't see a lot of large buttons, at least in the regular scrapbook and paper crafting area. I should probably go over to the sewing section of Joann's. Oh, gotta hold it. This one had 4 holes. I prefer to put something through the holes in the buttons. Some people leave them empty. This really is easier than I'm making it look. There we go. Tie a little knot. That is not attractive. Cut all of the extra off. And then I like to, I mean, you could leave it like that, but I like to take my poker. I'm sure it has another name, but I call it my poker, or I guess it's your paper piercer, and break those different strands up in the, it's easier if it's down on your mat and you're poking it. I didn't want to do it on the rubber part. Kind of fraying the ends of the twine, breaking it apart. Kind of gives it a little fluffy look. It's not so easy in midair, but you can kind of see what I'm doing. I like the look of that, a little more texture. So you can make it as fluffy as you want. That's all the time I will take this time. So let's glue that bad boy down. Use my glossy accents that I love. This lid I got. So it's by Fine Line, and your glossy accents will never plug again. I used to have them for sale in the store, and they're all gone. Now, I say it never will. Seriously, I just got through touting the praises of this, of how it never gets plugged, and it's plugged. Ha! So, I must have put it away without getting that little center down. So, let's see. Wow. All right, so ignore what I just said about that. I used to be in love with it. We'll go with this one. So it's a good thing I don't have those for sale in the store right now, because I just failed at showing you how awesome it is. If you put the glue away without making sure the little metal piece is down in the center, that is what will happen. It just happened on camera. But show must go on, so that will not be edited out. I don't know if you can see how there's a really fine little, so I'll deal with that later. All right, we have our button on. The next thing, I am using these little crayons from Doodlebug. They're mini doodle pops. I write on them. I've already done it. Well, I had. Maybe I'll have to do it again. Seriously? Oh, here they are. So I used a paint pen, because when they come, they're blank. There's no words or anything on the middle. And I knew when I started this card, I wanted to use a stamp I have that says, "You color my world." Well, when I was all done with everything, I couldn't find a good place for that stamp to go. So while I wanted it to say, "You color my world," it didn't work. So I thought, oh, I will use these little crayons. And then I used my Sharpie paint pen in white, and I just wrote, "You color my world," on the little crayons. So that is the fix that I came up with for not being able to use my stamp. So you color, and then I just reversed the order of the direction that the little crayons point. World. There you go. So there is our rainbow card, "You color my world." Pretty easy. Hope that you enjoyed the video. Give me a thumbs up if you like it, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and stay tuned for lots more videos and fun techniques that you can do. Thanks for stopping. Have a blessed and crafty day. Bye.